Hello guys and welcome to the FPL Duo. So we are here for the Kneejerk reaction, of course. Now, obviously, it hasn't gone to plan how this week has gone. Obviously, it's been a very disappointing game week, I think, for most of us. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get out. So yeah, welcome guys to the Kneejerk reaction for Game Week 4. Obviously, we'll be talking about how Game Week 4 has underwent and how Game Week 5 looks in terms of our teams. Now, it's unsure whether Huss will be able to make it for the stream or not, but you'll be able to see his team and how well it's done for Game Week 4. And as you can see it on the screen how well it has done. And I can say, guys, it has been a really horrible week, especially for wildcarders. It couldn't have gone worse, I think, for people that wildcard. Even for those who didn't wildcard, there were so many unfortunate events and so much. I don't know how to describe it, really. I mean, we've had game weeks that have been terrible before, but this, after an international break, this is really poor. I mean, I'm going to try and talk about some things in terms of our teams, but honestly, there's not really much to talk about. We'll get into it though. Obviously, before we start this video, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe for more, and leave a comment if you wish. But yes, let's start off obviously with Huss's team. So starting off in goal, obviously Henderson doesn't keep a clean sheet, and he only scores 1 point. I think he got a point taken off for the goals he conceded. So yeah, nothing much doing in terms of goalkeepers. So let's briefly move on to the back three he's lined up with. So Robinson, obviously Fulham did concede. And yeah, no clean sheet for Fulham again, nor an attacking return for Robinson this week. So that only leaves him with 2 points. Let's move on to something a bit more high scoring. Saliba, on the other hand, in that nail-biting win over Tottenham, managed to keep a clean sheet. Arsenal won 1-0 in that game, in that London derby. It was a very, as expected, very cagey, stalematey. Not really much going on. Bit of drama and action here and there, but yeah, for London derby, there was kind of expecting more in terms of goals. But yeah, Arsenal managed to keep obviously a clean sheet in that game, go on to win it as well in the late stages from Gabriel's header, which obviously is important for them to keep in the run for Man City in the title race, which obviously Man City play Arsenal next in Game Week 5, so that should be a really good fixture. So let's move on to the final player in his defence, and that is Trent, who, so this is a shocking result, and I couldn't believe this when I saw it, because I didn't watch the match, but I did see the ending score, and it was 1-0 to Nottingham Forest, and that was the full-time score. And obviously Trent, no clean sheet for him, only the 1 point. Yeah, it's a pretty surprising result, especially at Anfield. I was not expecting Nottingham Forest to win 1-0 against Liverpool. No, didn't see that coming at all. I kind of have to say that this international new schedule break for different types of football is not. I'm not liking it so far. It's been really obviously frustrating, and yeah, it's been very frustrating. And welcome us to the stream.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit late, guys. I hope I'm not too late. I tried to message you, Jordan, but I'll explain why I'm late.
Oh, that's all right. It's good to see you.
Yeah, so whereabouts are we?
We just talked through the defense, and now we're moving on to the midfield five. Well, we try and talk. There's not really much to really say because not many returns, but yeah, we're on the midfield five for your team.
Okay. Yeah, I'll quickly run through the team. You've probably gone through the defense.
Yeah, defense.
So yeah, not much to say from Henderson. I think what was the score in the end with Palace?
I think Palace won 2-1, I believe. Let's double check that. Crystal Palace. No, 2-2.
It was 2-2 in the end, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, nothing there. No clean sheets from Trent either in that shocker. I didn't see that one coming. Liverpool losing 1-0 at home to Forest. Robinson, very unlucky. Robinson, I thought, 95th minute he concedes, and then he loses his clean sheet. Saliba, however, did pick up the clean sheet, which I didn't expect. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the Arsenal Tottenham game, so I don't know how good Arsenal Tottenham played. I'm sure you'll tell us. I mean, how was that game? Did Tottenham have any chances, or were Arsenal pretty solid defensively?
Yeah, they started off having a few chances, Tottenham, but I think Arsenal grew into the game and they pretty much made most of the game exciting. It was not really a London derby that was jam-packed with action. There was more drama in between each player, a lot of yellow cards again. But yeah, it's just mostly Arsenal in the first and second half, but not much from Spurs. They had a few chances, but none of them to equalise on. Rare did really good in goal to obviously deny Spurs.
I mean, midfield again was a bit of a shambles as well. Salah blanking. I thought that was one of his worst games I've seen him play at Anfield. I thought he was very greedy, just taking shots in impossible angles. So yeah, I thought he was pretty poor. Rodgers didn't really get anything in that game as well. I didn't watch that game, but come away with a blank. Jota again wasn't his best game. Smith Rowe on the other hand did pick up an assist, which was really nice. He's the only one that really returned, obviously in midfield anyway. Eze, another blank. I was a bit frustrated when Mateta put the penalty away, because when they got the penalty, I thought, here's Eze going to get a goal. But then Mateta took the penalty. So that at least tells us that Eze isn't on pens. Chris Wood was my auto sub. As you guys know, João Pedro was a bit of a surprise to see. When the team news came out, João Pedro, we heard, was injured, carried a knock over the international break. Chris Wood comes on for the 2-pointer in my team. And Haaland, well, what is it to say about Haaland, guys? I mean, the guy's ridiculous. I think he's getting to that perma-captain territory. He's scoring. Should have had 3 or 4 goals. I don't know if you guys catch the game. Hit the post. On his hat-trick, hit the post. And he had another shot tipped over the bar. He could have easily got that hat-trick, maybe even 4 goals. So yeah, ridiculous. And 26 points. He's pretty much carried our whole team this week. And even this whole season, I feel like Haaland's been carrying my team. But yeah, Salah, obviously my transfer in hasn't paid off because he blanks, and João Pedro, my other transfer in, didn't play. So all in all, not a great week. Haaland saving me sort of, but not enough to save it from a red arrow. So I've not actually seen my ranks. It's my first time seeing the red arrow. It was about 200k red arrow for me, and I end the game week on 51 points.
Yeah, it's been. I think it was obviously we've talked about this off stream, but the international break, it's not a good schedule so far. I don't think it's going to be a good schedule for FPL. And obviously, there's going to be lots of injuries. We've seen already lots of injuries and whatnot. But yeah, it's been very disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, we'll come on to your team in a sec, but yeah, red arrow for me, 51 points. What was the average this week? Because it seems like, 51 points. I'm surprised I got a red in the end. I thought, you know what, I'd probably get a green.
In terms of average, last time I saw it was 38. So that just shows you that this game week has been really poor. An average of 38 points, especially for Wildcard as well. A lot of people wildcarded this week and it hasn't paid off so far.
All right, yeah, let's bring up your team. Talk us through how it's gone for you.
Yeah, so let's start off with the goalkeeper. Obviously, 1 point for Hermansen in that, obviously a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace, and obviously goals conceded. Lost a point, so he leaves on 1. In terms of defence, we spoke about Robinson, so 2 points for him in that draw against West Ham. Robertson, on the other hand, I saw this and thought, no way, can I? Not the Forest one against Liverpool at home. That was a shocking result. I think Robertson did get a yellow card as well, so he only ends up on 1.2. The only luck I've had from defence is Dunk, who got a clean sheet against Ipswich, but even that game finished 0-0, no goals at all. So that was probably the best result I could get out in terms of the Brighton assets, which I think sort of, I wouldn't say saves the game week, but it helps. Obviously, have it not terrible, but not worse. In terms of defence, there is no returns. Palmer blanked, got a clean sheet point against Bournemouth. Rodgers blanked, won in that. Again, Everton threw away a 2-0 lead, and Aston Villa going to win that 3-2. Very action-packed game, and not so good for Everton. Still on 0 points in the table. Liverpool assets, Jota and Salah both blanked. Jota only played an hour football, then got subbed off. Salah obviously played a full 90. Again, my captain flops again. So I've not had a good captain pick, I believe, so far this season, apart from having Salah in Gameweek 1, which was a good captain, but since then, it's been blank central. Matoma only getting a clean sheet point. Obviously, Brighton didn't score any goals against Ipswich. And then you've only got Haaland, really, who gets the returns for scoring the 2 goals and the bonus 3 points and ends up on 13. He was the bias pick, so I should have captained Haaland this week. And obviously, João Pedro is the auto sub for Fai, who is the Leicester defender who comes on for 1 point. So yeah, no clean sheet for him, but an extra point, I guess, helps. And yeah, in terms of returns on the bench, no returns at all. Wheatley is a non-playing player, and Keane obviously lost 3-2 to Aston Villa, so only 1 point from him. And Valdi Marson is the non-playing goalkeeper for Brentford. So it's another red arrow. I didn't think it would be possible to get a red arrow considering this is my wildcard team set up. I thought it was going to be a good week. But it is another red arrow of 800k. So I've dropped down to 5.6 million and only gaining 37 points. So yeah, it's not looking good so far at the start of the season, but there is still a long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go for the season. But yeah, I think it's fair to say it's not been a great game week 4. So we'll definitely want to forget. I mean, Kyle with the comment, I got 40 points this week. Harry says, don't even start about this game week. Do you think I should get Dunk for next week as well? Jordan, I mean, you're a Dunk owner. Would you bring him in for next week? Just get the clean sheet.
Yeah, he's got Nottingham Forest at home next, and Brighton so far have looked really good in terms of clean sheets. I believe that is 2 so far out of 4. So yeah, could be another one in there for Lewis Dunk.
Yep. I need a defender for 1 week because I will wildcard in game week 6 in that regard. Yeah, so he could be decent. We'll obviously look into fixtures in a moment. We'll look ahead to game week 5 shortly. Michael says, damn, this was a terrible week. MNFC, I got 33 points. I'm quitting. Long way to go, man. Yeah. I wouldn't give up the faith now. You could still turn it around. I think this time last season, my rank was around 5 million, I believe. Yeah. And then I still finished, I think, in the top 100k, I think it was in the end. So long way to go, guys. But yeah, it's not been a good week. It's definitely one to forget. And yeah, like and subscribe on the stream, guys, if you are enjoying the content. It's not been the greatest game week, but we're all going to get through it together. So yeah, like the stream and make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. What do you think about Jota in the plan? I thought of changing him to Saka in game week 6 game. We'll come on to transfer plans. I think we'll do that now. I'll bring up my squad first. Just bear with me while I share my screen with you guys. There you go. Hopefully you guys can see that clearly. Just one moment. Just a tad. Just a sec. Yeah, there you go. That's a bit better. So, this is what my current bus team looks like for game week 5. Right? So, in goal, I've got Dean Henderson against Manchester United at home. I've got a back 3 of Trent, Saliba, and Robinson. I have a midfield 5 currently of Diego Jota, Rodgers, Mo Salah, Smith Rowe, and Eze. Then up top, I have João Pedro and Haaland captain at the moment. On the bench, I have Wood, Ola Aina, and then Barco as well, who's currently flagged. So I also have 1 free transfer this week. So looking at my team, initial thoughts, I think I'm going to go captain Salah. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this one. I want to talk about captaincy for a sec because Salah obviously didn't have a greatest of game. Liverpool lost. Liverpool do have a home game, again, against Bournemouth at home, whereas Haaland plays Arsenal. It's obviously a tougher fixture. Haaland doesn't actually have the best of records against Arsenal. With what you've seen from Haaland so far, Jordan, ridiculous. 9 goals in 3 games, back-to-back hat-tricks. Should have had a hat-trick probably last game as well. Are you captaining Haaland against Arsenal? Or will you go for someone like Salah against Bournemouth at home?
Well, in terms of fixture, Salah does have the better one over Haaland, but in a reverse scenario, Haaland has scored 9 goals and has overtaken Salah this game week 4. So it's a bit hard to say. I mean, I would normally back the fixture over the form in terms of that, but Haaland's form is very hard to ignore. And it's like he's had a better season than when he first came to the Premier League as well. It's a good start from him. So it's slightly tempted to captain Haaland, even though he has Arsenal at home, because it is a big game for the title race, and Man City will obviously be looking to stay up top over Arsenal.
Yep.
But at the same time, Arsenal want to come and chase. Obviously, the 2 points they've lost so far between them. But for me, I'm going to keep the faith, I think, and choose Salah over Haaland, and that obviously might backfire because it's Haaland.
Yeah.
He's broken records galore, and he could have broken another one if he scored the hat-trick in game before again. 3 consecutive hat-tricks would have been insane. But yeah, we can't ignore the form of Haaland, and I don't think it matters what fixture he has. I think he can easily score in that Arsenal one. It's going to be tough because obviously Gabriel gave him a headache last time they were against each other, but yeah, I think things are a little bit different now in terms of Haaland. He just seems to be fresh at his prime, and yeah, hard to ignore as a captain pick.
Yeah, I'm on Salah at the moment. Now, we'll see how I feel. Liverpool do play Champions League on Tuesday night. So I'm going to watch how Salah does on that Champions League game on Tuesday. And if he comes off early, has a good game on Tuesday, then, I probably will keep it on Salah. But I'm going with Salah for now, as I still want to go and play the fixture first. Jota, again, he's got Bournemouth at home as well as Salah. I think it's a good fixture for him. Hopefully he does start as well. We know he came off a bit early for Darwin. Rodgers and Smith-Rowe, I think they are fine. This is probably the last week before I wildcard. So I am looking at potential game week wildcard 6. So this is probably the last week. So I will probably make a transfer because I don't see why I'd save it, kind of thing. I know it does still roll over. I believe this, obviously, the new rules have changed. So I'll still get my transfer next week, even though I wildcard. But there's not really anyone that stands out to me that I have to bring in. Is there anyone that you think, Jordan? I mean, let's go to your boss team. Just read us through your 11, and I mean, who are you looking to bring in? You're just wildcarded, so I'm assuming you're happy to roll.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm happy to roll. That's obviously why I played the wildcard in obviously Gameweek 4, just so it's set up for the next 2 or 3 game weeks. I don't think I'm looking to use a transfer yet, unless obviously there's injury issues near the obviously Champions League games that might affect it. But apart from that, that's looking like the team I'm going to go with, locked and ready for Gameweek 5. But yeah, I don't see any changes needed for my team. I think all of them have good fixtures, pretty much all home ones apart from Palmer.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm happy with the team.
One thing to obviously watch is João Pedro and the news regarding him, if he's going to be fit. If not, maybe he could tempt people to subs. I have a bench. I've got Ola Aina and Wood. We have Brighton, so I could potentially play them if it's a minor knock. But if João Pedro is out, we hear it's a sustained injury, then maybe you can take him out. But I think I'm going to roll. I don't really see anything sticking out to me urgently that I need to do in my team. Let us know what you guys think in the chat, guys.
Yeah, there is a lot of frustration, I think, from Rodgers again this game week, because we saw him having a lot of chances in that Villa game. He could have possibly scored 2, but I think it's his confidence really that's letting him down in games. He's getting the opportunities, the chances.
Yeah,
but a lot of people are still frustrated because he hasn't yet had a return yet. What do you think of Rodgers? How many chances do you think we should give him? I know his price doesn't justify his obviously the player that would return every game week, but is it the right time now to consider taking him out or keeping him?
Unfortunately, I didn't watch the game the Villa played. I didn't catch his performance in that game against Everton, but looking at the stats, he played 90 minutes. He had an expected goal involvement of 0.29, which isn't bad. Just looking at just the numbers, obviously, I haven't watched the game at all. Looking at fixtures, I'm going to keep the faith with him. I still think it's worth keeping faith with him at 5.1 million. Again, he's not a player that I'd want to play every week. I still don't think. I did say that, pre game week 4. I said he's one of those players that you want to be starting every week. But yeah, it's been a bit frustrating. No goals, no assists. But I don't know what people expected with Rodgers. I think I brought him in because I've had him since game week 1, and for me, I only had him because I thought he was going to play 90 minutes. I didn't expect too much from him. So now we've seen him play. He's been getting forward. I think people are expecting him to get a goal or assist. And I think I'm going to give him another game, maybe even an Ipswich. Would I have him on my wild card? Again, we'll have to see. I think at his price, for someone that plays 90 minutes for a team like Aston Villa, finished top 4 last season, I still think he's value for money just because he's playing 90 minutes. But I don't know what your opinion on him is. I think I'm going to still keep him, and I probably would still potentially have him on a wild card because he's so cheap. He plays 90 minutes, and surely he's going to get something soon.
It's only a matter of time, I think, that Rodgers will get something. I think we do have to keep the patience with him, even though he hasn't had a return yet. I think it adds more because Watkins did score 2 goals in that game, and a lot of us, including me, did take him out, especially for wildcarders who did have him. Obviously, he hasn't played 90 minutes. He still hasn't. I mean, in that game, he was taken off in the later stage in that game, but he did score the goals early on, which provided a bit more benefit if you did keep the faith in holding him in your team. But I think that adds the frustration as well for Rodgers not getting anything and Watkins getting 2 goals, and we transferred him out, and now the regret sets in. I think that's the only issue. But again, like we said, 90 minutes, Rodgers, I think I prefer him if he's getting the chances, and eventually he will put him past.
Sol Salah for Palmer and Son on wildcard, and will captain one of those. Was considering keeping Salah and selling Haaland, but fixtures after Arsenal are too good, so okay with going without Salah. I don't think we can sell Haaland, guys. I think you have to have Haaland in your team. I think he's just on fire at the moment. Every game, he's got 54 points already. If you captained him, that's 108 points he's giving you already.
Looking at goal involvement,
he's giving me maybe a third of my points, maybe nearly half my points on my team from game week 1. So, and you look at Arsenal, Newcastle, it's not to say he can't score against those teams. And then from game week 7, a lot of green fixtures there: Fulham, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton. And from what I see, again, it's looking ominous for Man City winning the 5th league in a row potentially. So, I just think we can't go without Haaland at this rate.
No. I mean, I tried to for the first 3 game weeks, didn't work out. Obviously, a back-to-back hat-trick and scoring the 1 goal in the first fixture against Chelsea completely backfired. And now, obviously, I'm glad I wildcarded him back in for game week 4 because, again, he scored 2 more goals. So it just shows how important Haaland is in the team this season.
We spoke on Rodgers already. I had to wildcard now because I still had Bruno, Garnacho, and no Arsenal. Bought Gabriel and bench him, and we'll switch Palmer or Son to Saka next week. And James also says, if I was us, I would play Ola Aina. Forest's defensive numbers are one of the best in the league, and I don't see a clean sheet for Arsenal against Man City. I have bought Aina on wildcard. I can play Ola Aina. I was impressed with him with his performance against Liverpool on the weekend. I thought he played really well down that right-hand side. So I could play Ola Aina instead of someone like a Saliba or even a Robinson. I actually don't see a clean sheet for Arsenal either. So probably will play him. Brighton didn't score against Ipswich this week as well, so could be decent. In terms of obviously moves, I don't really know what transfers I'll be making, guys. I've not really given it too much thought. I could roll looking at the team. I probably will wildcard game week 6 because looking at Arsenal's fixtures, after Man City in game week 5, I can wildcard and bring in a Saka or a Havertz or whoever I want because they've got Leicester, Southampton, Bournemouth. I definitely want some Arsenal attackers for these fixtures because I think there will be goals in these games. Turns a bit tough again for them in November, but I think there is that swing there. Even I mentioned Mbermo and Brentford's fixtures and things, and some of the players I want to look at moving on potentially. Even Diego Jota could go. Champions League rotation will be there for Liverpool. We've seen. I think Liverpool did look tired as well. Same players going again. There wasn't really much rotation, so maybe there will be more rotation going forward now with a game every 3 days essentially.
Yeah, obviously this new format that's set up now for scheduling games, we're going to see a lot of weeks like this, I think, where it's going to be low scoring. There's going to be a lot of rotation. Like we saw with Man City, Guardiola was benched for that game. It didn't really matter really because Brentford did score and wiped the clean sheet off. But we are going to see a lot more of that from teams, I believe, and minutes will be very varied. And it's going to be, I think, important to have a strong bench. I think options as well, because obviously the international break looming in the long weeks ahead, and obviously Champions League in between that as well. I think it indeed will be a rough few game weeks, I think.
I'm just looking at fixtures now. So these are sort of the next 5 games for every team. Arsenal have a decent run after this game week. After game week 5, you've got Leicester, Southampton, Bournemouth. Villa's fixtures aren't too bad either. Wolves, Ipswich, Man United, Fulham, and then Bournemouth after that. Bournemouth, again, we'll probably avoid their players for now. Liverpool next. It's a tough one for them. Liverpool will be looking to bounce back after their disappointing loss. Brentford, I think their fixtures are quite nice. Obviously, Spurs coming off their loss in the North London derby, but after that, Brentford have West Ham, Wolves, Man United, Ipswich looks decent for the likes of Wissa, who scored against Man City. And Burmo, again, we know those two have been doing really well. Brighton's fixtures are a bit up and down. Chelsea, Jordan, obviously, they ended up winning 1-0. Nkunku obviously goes and scores, comes on and wins Chelsea the game. Would you still consider any Chelsea assets? Fixtures look decent, next 3?
Not particularly. I mean, only Nicholas Jackson or Palmer for me. There's just too many players in that team that just play minutes over each other. And in terms of narrow picks that will play decent minutes, there's only those 2 really. I mean, Cucurella could be our defensive option to go for. He's playing a lot of minutes for Chelsea in that defence. Maybe a Sanchez in goal, but I wouldn't extend further than those players for Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know how many clean sheets I see for Chelsea. I know they kept one, this game week, but I don't see too many for Chelsea.
And they were lucky to keep that clean sheet because Bournemouth did have a penalty.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was missed penalty. Goalkeeper to save it. So, they were, again, clean sheets may not be every week for Chelsea, but they may be lucky to get one.
Yeah, Crystal Palace, Man United, Everton, Liverpool next 3. Tottenham as well in game week 9. Not the easiest set of fixtures. We also have confirmed sort of that, Eze isn't on penalties, which makes him a slightly worse option, I think, for us. Eze owners, would I think Eze is a lock on a wild card? Probably not, but I think still is a decent option for the next couple of games. Man United, Everton, not the worst set of fixtures. So one to watch with Eze and see what he can do in the next 2 games, I think. Everton, I think straight up, I think they're in a void. 4 losses in a row, I think. First time in Premier League history for Everton. I don't really want to have any of their players right now. I think they're going to struggle this season. Fulham, obviously, we've got Smith Rowe. A lot of us own him. I think you still can keep potentially Smith Rowe on a wild card. He's that cheap. But no one else really that sticks out to me. Ipswich, again, not really anyone. Leicester, the same. Liverpool, I'd just watch rotation now and see how Slot manages the Champions League football, whether he drops Jota and what happens with Darwin, what happens with Gakpo. That's the only thing with Liverpool, I think. How much minutes are you going to get with Jota? Jota could potentially be a sell on a wild card if we see him being rotated out. But I still think he's Liverpool's best player in the number 9 position, and I don't see him missing too many Premier League games, if I'm being honest.
Just quickly going back to Ipswich. Just because they have a good fixture against Southampton, I would suggest maybe Leif Davies But he does provide attacking threat in terms of assists. So that could be a good fixture where you could play him for 1 week punt. And he has differential 1.8% and only 4.5 million. So there's something to consider if you're looking for a cheap defender pick for that week.
Yeah, you just mentioned Leif Davies as well as obviously James Muric, 4.4 starting goalkeeper, one of the 4 million defenders, all good options from Ipswich. I mean, Ipswich, you look at their fixtures, West Southampton's a decent game. Another newly promoted team. I think Southampton are going to get relegated. I know it's very early to say that, but I don't see them staying up. So, yeah, it could be a good game. West Ham, Everton, Brentford as well in the next 5. Yeah, I mean, Leif Davies, not a bad shout.
Yeah, it's the only player I would recommend for that only game week, I think. And plus Southampton, as we mentioned, they're on 0 points. Same with Everton, both on 0. So, yeah, it's looking not good for them either side in terms of the relegation.
Yeah, we've mentioned Liverpool, Man City next. Again, Haaland, obvious one. Is anyone else in Man City right now, Jordan, you'd be considering?
Well, we haven't really seen much from other players in Man City. Sorry, because obviously most of the goals have been coming from Haaland from the game, so it's hard to really pick other assets to go for because it just seems to be revolving around Haaland. I mean, even clean sheets for Man City are not really.
Ederson got an assist though, I believe.
Yeah, he got an assist. Other than that, I mean, they've only kept a clean sheet against Chelsea the first game week. Other than that, they've conceded against Ipswich, West Ham, and Brentford. And you would think from those fixtures, those would be clean sheets. But Man City somehow do let in goals at the back, and it's hard to pick other players other than Haaland.
Yeah, I think right now Haaland's the one, and that's it really until Foden and things maybe come into as an option again. Man United got their win on the weekend after 2-0 against Southampton. Palace, Tottenham, Villa next for them. Again, I'm not considering any Man United assets personally right now. I think if I was, maybe Bruno, if you still have faith in Bruno. I know he didn't get anything this game week, but he's always there as an option. Garnacho, we know, scored, but again, always a worry with Garnacho is rotation, or will he start, I should say. Ahmad seems to be preferred over the right, and then Rashford seems nailed to start every game. So Garnacho's minutes would be a worry for me still.
Yeah, with Man United, I mean, Rashford had a really good game. I don't remember the last time he had a really good start to an end to a game, but he was pretty good in that performance. I mean, he was actually making runs, not really losing the ball, and getting a few chances. Obviously, he did score in that game, but I think I'll be looking more to the defense if I was to pick any Man United asset at the moment. Like maybe Onana as a goalkeeper, because I know how bad Man United defense can be, but they fortunately somehow do manage to get clean sheets like they did against Southampton, which I didn't think was going to happen. So, and also Onana did save a penalty, which I guess helped boost his points up. But I'll be looking more to a defensive pick for Man United, because at the moment, in terms of goal scorers, it's hard to know who really is a prolific goal scorer for them, because obviously we lost Højlund.
Yep.
So it's a bit hard to pick now in terms of the attack.
Moving on, Newcastle. There's not really anyone standing out for me so far. The Isak, obviously, a lot of people are probably frustrated with Isak now. What's your thoughts on Newcastle and generally?
Well, it just went from bad to worse in that game because Isak went off injured, which I guess is a massive end to this game in the worst way possible for those who did keep him in. There is a few injury concerns though for Newcastle after that game, which again hinders them a bit. Obviously, they did win that game 2-1 against Wolves, but for their fixtures, again, I wouldn't really suggest anyone.
Harvey Barnes, is he an option? Obviously, he just got the goal today. Next 3 look quite tough-ish.
Yeah, they're tough.
Man City, but other than that, it's not bad, their fixtures.
It's not bad, but I did expect Newcastle in terms of assets to be a bit more, better in their fixtures, but they haven't really stood out for me. If one in terms of players there, you could go for a Shaw. He did score today. He didn't keep a clean sheet, but it's not looking good for Newcastle, I think, in terms of assets.
Okay. Forest have been pretty. I mean, Forest have been quite impressive. They still haven't lost a game this season. Beat Liverpool now at Anfield, big win for them. Next two look decent: Brighton, Fulham, and then even after that, Chelsea, Palace, and Leicester. So Nottingham Forest, if you've got Chris Wood, if you've got likes of Ola Aina, which I do have, we know Callum Hudson-Odoi came off the bench, Alanga, they've got pace. Could those be an option in the coming weeks, potentially as differential cheap options? We'll have to see if they can nail down a starting spot, but they could be good options as well for Forest. And I like the fixtures, not too bad, and they've had a really good start to the season, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they kept two clean sheets, and Aina getting quite a few points in between those two fixtures.
8-pointer.
Yeah, another big pointer for Aina at the price as well. Very cheap. I believe he was 4 million to start off with for the season, so he's paid off massively if you have bought him in for those 2 games.
Yeah, I've had him, but I've always been on the bench. He's always got me points.
Yeah, because we do play the fixture, and you would think Liverpool, no chance of a clean sheet there.
Yeah.
For Nottingham Forest.
Moving on, Southampton, again, another team we'll probably look to ignore at this point. Not really any picks that stand out. Spurs just lost 1-0 in the North London derby. Back-to-back losses now for Spurs. It was a tough game slightly against Arsenal and Newcastle, but fixtures turned slightly. Brentford, Man United, Brighton, West Ham. Son, is he an option for you or anyone else in Spurs? I mean, Porro is quite popular in a few teams. What do you make of Spurs' performance, and would you rate their assets going forward?
I did like the looks of Solanke in parts of the game. There's possible chances he could have had between that. I mean, I still think he needs a few more games to get a bit more incorporated in the Spurs team, but I think down the long-term line, Solanke could be a good option going forward, especially at low ownership.
Yep. Possibly.
In terms of defense, obviously Pedro Porro, even Romero could be great as well. Udogie or Van der Ven. I think any defender pick really for Spurs could be good. Maybe they keep a few clean sheets.
Yeah, West Ham as well. Obviously, just drew 1-1. Fixtures: Chelsea, Brentford, Ipswich, Tottenham, Man United next. Not really considering any of their players on a wild card. If you are wildcarding in Game Week 6, don't know if I'll be including any West Ham assets. No one's really standing out right now. Obviously, Kudus is always there. Bowen, I believe, got an assist this week. But I've not been that impressed with West Ham, if I'm being honest.
In terms of West Ham, I mean, I do like the looks of Wan-Bissaka, only because of how forward he gets for a defender pick. And he is starting to look nailed. He played 90 minutes against Man City and 90 minutes against Fulham. And he does have some good fixtures after Chelsea against Brentford and Ipswich. So he could be another differential defensive pick to go for. He does make high runs up the pitch where he is playing, so that does appeal to me now.
Finally, there's Wolves as well, who've just lost to Newcastle in the last game. But again, there's not really anyone that I think you should be looking to include as of now. Let's take a few comments. Evening Lads was sitting on 275k overall and bought in Robertson for Gabriel. Ouch. And now 456k. Going to get rid of Isak, but not sure best replacement. Who's the best Isak replacement, Jordan, right now?
Best Isak replacement.
Assuming João Pedro is still injured, let's say. So João Pedro is a decent pick still if he's fit.
Yeah, if he's fit, he's a good replacement. Come back to me on that. Who do you think would be a good replacement for Isak? Why?
Let's have a look. I mean, I still wouldn't rule out Watkins. I don't think Watkins is a bad shout still. I've seen people say Duran. Again, what is his minutes like with Duran, though?
He played about 20 or so minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd go there. Wissa. What about Wissa?
He went off injured. Not sure about. Obviously, he got an ankle injury.
He got off injured?
Yeah. He played 45 minutes against Man City.
Sorry. He's flagged, my bad.
So it's unsure about his next week's draft.
Let's have a look. So obviously, João Pedro, we know he's still we don't know the clarity on that. Welbeck is always there if you still want to go Brighton. Welbeck, I think, is a decent option at 5.7 million if you want to go for someone cheap. Havertz is still there. Didn't get anything today in terms of attack and return, but he does have 2 goals, 1 assist so far this season in 4 matches. I still think Havertz is a good option, especially after Man City. It's from game week 6 onwards. A couple of nice fixes in there. I think Havertz, I wouldn't overlook him. Watkins just come off the back of 2 goals. And I did say, guys, keep the faith with Watkins, because a lot of people were looking to sell Watkins ahead of game week 4 after being frustrated with him and not getting any goals. He comes with 2 goals and he comes with a 13-pointer as well. So, fair play to those that kept faith in Watkins. And when I look at Aston Villa's fixtures, I would keep the faith with Watkins and potentially look at bringing him in. And I'm looking at bringing Watkins in myself, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I like Watkins still. I still think he will get you goals. And had a price drop now of 8.9 million. I think he could be decent value in the next couple of weeks. Calvert-Lewin, again, I'm not really considering him. He does have 2 goals already this season. Fixtures aren't too bad, but not sure I want to back an Everton forward at the moment with the way they're playing. Chris Wood is interesting. 2 goals so far this season. Decent fixtures coming up. If you need a cheap sort of striker, maybe he's an option, but I probably would avoid Chris Wood, but it's just a bit of a wildcard option if you want to go different. Duran, I just wouldn't include him. He doesn't start. I just think, he's had 3 goals this season, but I want someone that starts and plays 90 minutes, and he's just not going to start ahead of Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I think because of obviously Duran's goal against Everton, it was a howler of a goal. I think that's what sort of appeals to people to bring him in. Maybe he could possibly get something despite his minutes, but no, I definitely agree. I wouldn't bring Duran in terms of an Aston Villa asset. I think I prefer to go to Rodgers. Yeah,
there's obviously Nicholas Jackson if you want to go there. Again, he comes off after about 70 usually. 2 goals already so far this season. I personally wouldn't go there, but it's an option if you want to consider. Vardy, 2 goals this season so far. He's playing 90 minutes. Again, fixtures aren't too bad if you want to go Jamie Vardy for nostalgia's sake anyway. Mateta is interesting. 2 goals on the weekend in the draw against Leicester. He's on penalties now, we know, as well, after he dispatched his penalty against Leicester. He's 7.4 million, had a price drop. Fixtures up and down. He can return in a lot of these games. We know he's on his day. He can be a handful. So he's an option. Isak, again, we know you said he went off injured, didn't he?
Yeah, the ball hit him in the face and caused him to get nosebleed, but it didn't look like it hit him that hard. But he did go off though, regardless.
Yeah, injured. Probably one to avoid for now, Isak. And those are really the options I'll be looking at. Other than that, there's not really any forwards. I mean, Solanke's there. Obviously, you've mentioned Solanke played 90 today. Could be an option when, depending on how we see Spurs his form in the next couple of games. But I still think Watkins is a really good option, guys. And I'm looking at him personally in my team.
Yeah, he is a good option. I think it is a shame that he doesn't play 90 minutes yet. But if he does score like he did early on in the Everton game, then best option you can go for. I mean, obviously the last few game weeks haven't been the greatest for him, and it's been frustrating seeing him go off early. But that just shows this game week he can score early on, and that's it. You're rewarded with his points before he goes off. Yeah,
and as mentioned as well, Havertz definitely an option with Arsenal's fixtures now coming up after the City one. Leicester, Southampton, Bournemouth. That could be double-digit haul potential for an Arsenal attacker here.
Yeah, I think I would prefer to bring in Havertz over Saka. I think.
Okay.
Just I see more goals obviously coming from Havertz than I do with Saka. He's a bit more provides the assist for the player, but cheaper price I think as well. Going Havertz up front over Saka in the midfield is over 10 million.
But I think Havertz, Watkins are going to be quite popular still in our Game Week 6 wildcard drafts. I can see people going for them. And then yeah, those two really, I think, mainly, I think I see them being popular. Which I think could have potentially, if he stayed fit, depending on that injury, we don't know how serious it is. In the midfield, though, Mbomo's one I'm looking at bringing in on a wild card. I want to look at his longer term fixtures from 6. West Ham, Wolves, United, Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton. 7.1 million. Didn't score against City, but he's already on 3 goals for the season. Saka, you mentioned you prefer to have Havertz. Obviously, you do save yourself a bit of money going with Havertz. Save us about 2 million.
Yeah, and as you can
Did
see,
pick up an assist though, Saka today.
Yeah, from obviously taking the corner and Gabriel heading the goal. But you see what I mean by the stats so far: 1 goal, 4 assists.
Yeah,
you'll see more assists coming from Saka than you would goals, and on the other hand, Havertz more points potentially over Saka.
No, it's a fair point. Madueke, can he be an option? Played an hour against Bournemouth. It seems like he's, someone that Enzo Maresca likes. Can he be an option next 3 West Ham, Brighton, Forest as a differential option? Still only 12% owned.
No, not for me. Not. Yeah, I know he scored the hat trick, but yeah, it's just not happening with Madueke.
Yeah,
for me,
it's still not enough
not
data there for yourself.
No.
Fair enough. Son, we've not spoke too much about Son. Maybe a bit an underlooked option. 8.7% ownership, very low owned. He's a premium at 10 million. Fixtures look decent. If he can pick up a bit of form, if you can jump on him early, and if you can get some form, then he could be a really good player that could maybe shoot you up the ranks. Because he's so low owned at the moment. Palmer again didn't get anything against Bournemouth. I think that's his first blank. No, sorry, he blanked it in the first game, didn't he? But again, Palmer, 10.6 million now. Decent fixtures coming up. I didn't realize his ownership is that high. 39.5%. Nearly 40% managers own him. Are you surprised by that at all, or?
Because Palmer's been really good this season. I believe he's only had 2 blanks out of 4 game weeks, and one of them he got 3 assists and 1 goal. So I think that does provide obviously that appeal to bring him in. He got an assist against Crystal Palace as well, so that's 4 assists and 1 goal for him so far. He has nice fixtures, and he plays pretty much 90 minutes too, which is very hard for any Chelsea asset to do that, considering that the amount of players they have in the squad. So yeah, that's not really a surprise, but I think it did climb up after obviously this week when a lot of people did bring him on the wildcard, including me, over Saka.
Yeah. Those are sort of picks interest me. Obviously, Barnes scored today, but again, his minutes are a bit, you can't rely on his minutes. Played 45 today, hasn't played more than an hour in any game so far this season. So that would worry me. But his ownership is under 1%. De Bruyne, De Bruyne has been playing 90 minutes, close enough. 1 goal, 1 assist. Don't know if he's would be an option right now for me personally. Did he start the season at? Was he 10 million? Wasn't he? At the start of the season. Can't remember now.
I can't remember how much De Bruyne was. If he did start at 10 million, he's had a few price drops already for.
Or was he 9.5? I think he was 9.5. My bad.
Yeah, he
9.5, and then he had a 1 price rise. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, Man City assets have been really weird because I don't know if it's me, but I've not seen anyone apart from Haaland just that stands out in obviously their games. Just not seen any involvement from any other player.
Rico Lewis is one that I do like. Obviously, he only played 45. I think he's a decent option. Vardiol getting bench was a big surprise. We didn't see that one coming really.
Yeah.
So I probably would avoid Man City defenders. In terms of midfield, KDB's up there, Bernardo's there. Still no goals from any Man City midfielder. I mean, they've just got Haaland really, who's just a machine. And when you've got Haaland up front, no one really else needs to score. They can just provide the assists and make sure he gets the goals. So yeah, I think Haaland's the only one really that you'd probably want in your team right now from Man City.
Yeah, I think it's still early to really consider another Man City asset, and unless we see a bit of a drop off from Haaland and then see a bit more coming from other players in Man City, because so far we haven't seen that much involvement.
Yep. Adam 8 says 140k, Henderson, Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, Smith Rowe, Jota, Eze, Salah, Rogers, Haaland, Wood. Yep. Good start. 140k. And yeah, let us know what your guys' plans are as well. Are you wildcarding in game week 6? Because it looks like game week 6 is a window where there are people looking to potentially wildcard. Like myself, who will be considering it as well. But yeah, I mean, you're rolling. Where do you see? Is anyone you're looking at on your watch list? Is there any player that you think in the next couple of weeks could be a popular transfer in, or someone you're looking at? Someone's caught your eye this game week.
Well, in terms of long term, there's obviously Havertz that I'd like to bring in after game week 5 because these run of fixtures are really good, and I think you'd want to bring in at least one asset for Arsenal from obviously game week 6 onwards. Apart from that, though, this game week it's been really hard to consider anyone because really the underdog teams and players that are not really goal scorers stood out more. But
yeah,
I still keep the faith in Brighton assets like Matoma, Dingra, Minter, those ones. Welbeck, even if João Pedro doesn't start against Nottingham Forest, I think he's still a good option going forward. Rogers, obviously, another good pick to go for. Palmer, in terms of Solanke as well for Spurs. For me, is definitely Arsenal assets like Kai Havertz for me that stand out.
Okay. But yeah, guys, please do like the stream if you've enjoyed the content. Always appreciated all your likes, all your support as well. Make sure you are subscribed as well to the channel. So like and subscribe. I think that's everything for this reaction stream. We're back again midweek, Tuesday for transfer tips. Thursday again, as usual, we have the team selection video and then deadline stream back on a weekend. So not the best of weeks. I think it's fair to say game week 4 has been a damn squib. Hopefully game week 5 is a lot better for all of us. But yeah, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. Hit the like button. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Yeah, just take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Obviously, this game week hasn't been the greatest after the international break, but hopefully next week it is a lot more better. But yeah, until then, take care. See you Tuesday. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend.